youngest son, who's in his late 40s, suggested that I put together a video, short videos, of some of the things that I've learned over my life. I must admit, he's getting smarter every day. He actually thinks his dad knows something. That's amazing. Anyhow, I'm going to share a little bit with you today of one of the things that recently came to mind with me. Take a look at Matthew 25, verse 14 through 30. Please take your time and honestly read it by yourself. I'm going to give you my take on it. Basically, Jesus tells the story about a king who left for another land. And he called his servants in front of him, and to each one he gave, according to their abilities, he gave them talents, or you might call it money. And to some he gave more, and some he gave less, according to their ability. And he told them, I'll be back, and take that and work with it. Well, sure enough, time had passed, and he was there. Now it was time to be accountable. And to the one he gave the most came before him, and he said, I took your money, I invested it, I did real well, I doubled your money. And the master said, good job, good job. Second one came before him and said that he took what he was given and he did his best with it. Didn't make quite as much as the other one, but did pretty good. And he said, well, you did a good job. You're a faithful servant. You did what you're supposed to do. And then the last one came before him. And he said, well, you're a tough guy. You expect things from people that you're expecting things that you don't have to work for. I was afraid of you. I was afraid. So I took your money and I just dug a hole and put it in it and covered it up. Here's your money. And he looked at him and he told him he was a very unfaithful servant. Took what he had and gave it to the one who did the best. Showed him the door. Basically, I think what he's telling us is we're going to be held accountable. He's given each one of us talents. Some more, some less. But he expects us to use them. Not only should we use them, we should fine-tune them. Whatever gifts he's given us, we should study even more and make ourselves even better. Take those and polish them and improve them. Educate yourself. And you'll be able to compete in this world. Also, there's another part of that story. God's never going to expect more from you than what he gave you. I'm going to tell you another story. This was about your great-grandpa Krause. I wish you could have known him the way I've known him. He was a good teacher without teaching. Basically, he came here from Germany and was a good carpenter, very good carpenter. Learned his trade in school there. At that time, when you left school, you were expected to have a trade and make a living. And he did that. But by the time he got into his late 50s, he could no longer work. He had carpal tunnel over the wrists. He had arthritis in his hands. In that job, he was no longer going to be able to do. Well, he took the skills he had, which he wasn't trained in anything else. He came to this country, learned English, made a living, but it was time that he had to do something else. Well, he took a job in a candy factory, and I'm sure he made less money. But I can tell you the man I met didn't find his self-esteem in his job or in his money. He loved life, he loved his family, he loved God. He took what he had and did the best with what he had. Now, you're going to find changes in your life. Your job is to adapt to your environment, to adapt to the world you're in. God's never going to expect you to do more than what you can do. Adapt to it. When you find yourself in that place, go to prayer. Ask Him to lead you and to guide you. And He will. In my life, I've had to do a lot of adapting. And some of it was more challenging than others. But I know if you put in an honest effort, things will work out just fine. Thank you for watching this, and hope you learned something from it.